Hi, everybody. Thanks for visiting LankSports.com. Online sports editor Keith Schweigert here alongside Jeff Reinhart. We're here to preview one of our two spotlight games for Week 4, the Lancaster-Lebanon League season, Lampeter-Strasburg at Lebanon. This one kicks off Friday night at 7 o'clock. Jeff, you're going to be blogging live from this one.
Yes,
big Section 2 game here. We're through with our non-league stuff for Section 1 and Section 2 anyway. From here on out in Section 2, it's all about winning the division, and this is a big one. Both Lampeter-Strasburg and Lebanon, 3-0 in the season coming in. Tell us how you think this one's going to shake out.
Interesting matchup. We've all been kind of waiting for this. LS, first game up in Section 2. How are they going to do? They got through their non-league just fine. 3-0, 3 big wins. They outscored their opponents 110-14 in those games. They're a plus 96 in scoring ratio. That's number 1 in the league. So LS has come through just fine. A lot of balance. Top 5 defense, top 5 offense in the league. Only team in the league that has a top 5 in each of those categories. I think we're both a little anxious to see if Lebanon is for real, quote unquote. They beat Cedar Crest, they beat Northern Lebanon, they beat Elko, and those teams are all 0-3. So I think a lot of us are anxious to see if Lebanon is for real, or if they're legit here with this air raid, which has put up a lot of gaudy numbers. They've passed for over 870 yards, tops in the league. Alex Troutman's passed for 840 by himself. They're putting up all kinds of scary, crooked numbers, and they had a great comeback win against Elko last week. So for me, is Lebanon for real? Can they win at home and get a good jump in Section 2, which should be great, against an LS team that's super balanced, 3-0, and playing with a chip on its shoulder as the new kid on the block in Section 2. Good game, interesting game.
Okay, well, let's look at Lampeter-Strasburg first. And last week they beat a good Cedar Cliff team who had come into that one 2-0. Did it without their starting quarterback. Nate Shank apparently violated a school rule or something like that, had to miss the game. He's coming back, but the fact that they can go and beat a Cedar Cliff team like that last week without their starter, what does that tell you about the kind of balance and the kind of team that they are?
Ton of balance, and that's the first word that comes to mind when I kind of dissect LS every week is balance. They have a ton of kids who touch the ball. They don't even have a kid that's rushed for 200 yards yet. Their leading rusher has like 175. A lot of kids will touch the ball. McCrudden, McNellis, Stover. Shank will be back this week. Christian Del Rossini stepped in at quarterback last week. He was a quarterback when he came in as a freshman, switched him to tight end, and he's become one of the better tight ends in the league the last couple of years. He did just fine under center last week, rushed for a touchdown, passed for a touchdown. Like I said, balance. Wow, to beat a Cedar Cliff team that was 2-0 and just firing and passing and just doing all kinds of stuff, to hold them to 7 with a backup quarterback who hasn't taken a snap in 4 years, that's really, really impressive. So second in the league in total defense, 194 yards a game, 350 yards a game on offense. That's 5th best in the league. 12 takeaways, plus 8 in turnover ratio, and LS has only punted the ball 4 times. So they're finishing drives, not turning it over, and they're 3-0 and playing well. We'll see how they do on the road. Section 2 opener, first game in their new home. Okay.
And for Lebanon, you touched on this earlier, their 3 wins come against teams that are combined 0-9 in the season. Yeah. And, of course, they had to rally to knock off Elko.
Yeah, they did.
Now, Elko, maybe their record's a little misleading. We both thought prior to the season that they were going to be pretty decent.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing without their starting quarterback, still trying to get used to that. But still, fact remains, Lebanon had to come from behind to win that game. So what's your feel on Lebanon? Are they for real, as you mentioned? Do you think it's that they're this good, or is it kind of they're pretty good but the 3 teams that they played are not?
Struggling.
How do you see it?
Well, I think they proved something coming back on Elko. I thought Elko finally found itself last week, and they got a lead, and they were playing great. Lebanon scored with 25 seconds to go. Troutman to Will Brown, 25 seconds left to pull that one out. So big comeback win for them. I want to say they're legit. I mean, they're putting up the numbers and they're winning. A win is a win, as we both like to say all the time. And I think, like I said, I think Elko really kind of came out of its shell last week. So for Lebanon to rally and come back and beat Elko, I thought showed me a little something. 447 yards a game on offense. So Lebanon's definitely gone up top. They scored 112 points already. Again, with the competition, I know, and the records, but I think you got to kind of throw them out, especially going into this game. New week, new game, new team. I'm anxious to see how Lebanon handles their balance. That's what it's going to come down to for me. LS's balance, the pass and the run, and how many kids touch the ball, and how good their defense is against the Lebanon team that is going to go up top a lot. Trautman's going to throw 40 passes probably. Should be a fun game.
Sure.
Absolutely.
How do you see it playing out? Are you leaning toward a particular team?
I like LS because of its defense. They're only giving up 190 yards a game. I think they'll find a way to curtail the air raid a little bit. Trautman may still end up with some numbers in the end, but with the +8 and the +8 turnovers and forcing 12 takeaways already, I think LS has been really opportunistic on that side of the ball. If they can turn Lebanon over once or twice and cash in on a short field, I like the Pioneers. I'll go LS, but I think it's a good game.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward Lampeter-Strasburg as well, just because I'm a little more sold on the level of competition that they played this year, especially that Cedar Cliff win. That was very impressive to me, and I had the opportunity to see them against Penn Manor. Of course, the Comets are struggling a little bit, but they look very, very good there on both sides of the ball. So. Due respect to Lebanon,
sure.
I'm just not sold on them yet until I see them play an LS or Cocalico or Central, once we get into the meat of the section schedule here. If they're still winning those kind of games, then sure, they're a quality team. Until then, we'll have to wait and see.
Sure, I agree. 100%. Yeah. I agree.
Don't forget, folks, if you can't make it out to the games on Friday night, be sure to visit us at lanksports.com. Jeff and I blog live from a game every week. We'll post all the updated scores that we get from around the league, both in our live blogs and on the ticker that runs across the top of the main page. And then later on Friday night, Jeff and I will do a video to recap all of Friday night's results and all of the action. So be sure to look for that late on Friday night. Again, we thank you very much for visiting our website and enjoy the games on Friday.